I want to start by talking about your best-selling book. Obviously, you've been on the Times bestseller here for a while.
Mhm.
And the book itself is an exploration into enlightenment ideals, why we got here and why we are falling off. So let's start with the easy question. Why are we falling off? This is the one that seems to be the most puzzling to folks. Like you talk in the book about we are falling off, we're falling back into tribalism, that the Enlightenment is a miracle that happens. You call it the miracle in the book. But why do you think people are disowning it? Why aren't we appreciating the stuff around us?
I think one of the reasons why we're falling off is essentially that we teach ingratitude, right? So I close the book with this big call for gratitude because this miracle, which is sort of liberal democratic capitalism, the rule of law, it's not just sort of the enlightenment or the free market at all. It's what Cuba Gooding Jr. would call in Jerry Maguire the Quan, right? It's the whole package, right? Rather than be grateful for this unbelievable miracle that pulled us out of the muck of human history. For 250,000, 300,000 years, man's natural environment was grinding poverty, punctuated by an early death, either from some bowel-stewing disease or violence, right? And then once and only once, because of some weird crap that happens in England, we start coming out of it. The trick is to sort of say, here comes this golden goose. It comes into our life. It lifts us out of poverty. It extends our lives. For the first time in human history, the average human being lives on more than $3 a day. If I had a golden goose, I'd build a fence around it. I'd give it good food. I'd take care of it. What can I get you today, Mr. Goose, right? And instead, we have a policy, a cultural policy, a suicidal policy from all the commanding heights of the culture to teach people to be ungrateful, right? The opposite of gratitude is entitlement and resentment. And we teach that the story of America, the story of the West, is a story of tyranny and oppression and cruelty and bigotry, when in reality, the story of the West is this amazing story of overcoming those things. Every civilization in all of human history since the agricultural revolution had slavery. Slavery is not what defines Western civilization. The fact that we ended it is one of the things that defines Western civilization. So I want to teach about things like slavery, but I want to teach them so we can tell people the good story about how we got rid of it, not that we had it.
So that's what is happening, but why? Why was it that from the 1950s and on, basically,
right,
especially the United States, has decided that all of these old things need to be put away and
right,
capitalism needs to be assaulted? Where is that coming from?
I think the original cause of our problems stem from essentially romanticism. Romanticism is a subject that no one wants to revisit because we have bad memories of reading poets we didn't understand or something like that, or not understanding paintings or whatever. That's fine. My understanding of romanticism is that basically it is the argument that your own personal feelings, your emotions, remember, emotions and feelings are just synonyms for your instincts, basically, right? For your gut. That these are the highest sources of truth. These are the highest sources of authenticity. And because part of my argument is that capitalism and democracy and the market are fundamentally unnatural phenomenon. This is that romanticism is really just your inner primitive screaming in your ear saying, the world shouldn't be like this. The second the Enlightenment appears, basically there is this counter reaction to it called romanticism. And these two have been at war for all time. They've been at war. It is an inherent tension within Western civilization, within the Enlightenment-based democracies, that is this conflict between self-discipline and self-expression. You can put 1,000 different labels on it. And I think a lot of our problems stem from the fact that in this, this eternal battle between Locke and Rousseau, Rousseau has been winning for a long time. Everybody who controls the commanding heights of the culture, from academia to Hollywood to music, is basically, to one extent or another, on Team Rousseau rather than Team Locke. I use Locke and Rousseau as symbols or stand-ins for two impulses, right? But these impulses run straight through the human heart. We're all a little Lockean. We all want to be recognized as individuals and make our own unique contributions to the world, that we're special, that if we were gone, the world would miss us, right? That's a very Lockean kind of thing. But we also want to be part of a group. We want to derive some of our meaning from being part of a cause that's larger than ourselves. We want to derive some meaning for our contributions to some collective endeavor. Neither of those things are evil, right? And so part of my argument is that human nature is not inherently evil or good. Human nature is human nature. It is the one eternal constant. What is good or bad are the institutions and morals and customs that we create that channel human nature towards productive ends. Because if you believe in the perfectibility of man, you also believe in the perfectibility of society, because you can't get one without the other. And those who sort of take, like the founding fathers did, human nature as a constant And the best you can hope for is a good society, not a perfect society.